मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामयं नितान्ते स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं गुरोः श्रीगुरुकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागरनाथं तं जीवं साधयं साधुतं अर्जुन श्रीतं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सर्वदा श्री शाखां श्री कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीनबंधु गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत स्वशादी गौरवंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita text. We are now looking into the chapter 4, text 40, text 20, and so we are into the 4th chapter. Right now, yes, Krishna is describing Karma Yoga as Dharma. This is what we are right now discussing. We are in Shloka number 20. So if I go to Shloka number 20, त्यक्त्वा कर्म फलसंगम नित्य तृप्तो निराश्रया कर्मणि अभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किंचित् करोति सः. The meaning is abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities. Ever satisfied and independent, it performs no fruitful action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So, answer to the question of Arjuna. So now, if you see how is this entire thing unfolding, if you see the shloka number, go to chapter number 3. Chapter number 3 of Bhagavad Gita. It is Karma Yoga. So Krishna is elaborating Karma Yoga, and at shloka number 36, or when we say shloka number 35, Krishna is saying that it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than others' duty perfectly. Discussion in course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for to follow another's path is dangerous. So now Arjuna is getting a question. So till now Krishna was explaining about Karma Yoga, but then Arjuna is thinking there's something which is trying to prevent us from doing our prescribed duty. What is it? That is what he is asking. Text number 36. O descendant of Rishi, by what is one impelled? So then Krishna is answering it in shloka number 37 to 43, where he is elaborating about lust and then self-control and so on. Then Krishna is hinting that he has to use his intelligence, Arjuna has to use his intelligence. Prabhupada writes as Krishna consciousness. So what are those shlokas? So shloka number 36 is Atakena prayutoyam papam charati purusha anichena api vashnaya paladeva niyojita. So in the flow of Karma Yoga description of Krishna, there is a little bit detour in shloka number 36, which is because of Arjuna's question in 3.36, which is, O descendant by what is one impelled to do sinful activities? Then Krishna is answering it in 3.37. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajogunu, Samudbhava, Mahashana, Mahapapma, Idiyena, Irvaina. It is lust. Krishna is telling this lust. And it continues on this theme of sense control. And in 3.43, Krishna is concluding the 3rd chapter. I mean, this description of sense control by saying that Evam Buddhe Parambuddha Samstavyatmanam Atmana Jani Shatru Mahabhava Kama Rupa Durastha. By deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, one can steady the mind and hence conquer the lust. So here, Krishna stops. Then in fourth chapter, which is transcendental knowledge, Krishna is telling to Arjuna that, oh Arjuna, this is not a knowledge that I have given to you in this battlefield. This is time tested or timeless knowledge which I had given to other people. So he explains that the parampara, text 1 and 2, and then he is telling the special position of Arjuna that he is his friend and his devotee. So that is why he is giving this ancient science to Arjuna. Then in 4.4, Arjuna is getting one more question. 4.4, let us go to 4.4. Is asking Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivasvataha Katameta Dvijaniya Tomado Proktovaniti. How am I to understand that you have given this knowledge when you and I are contemporaries and Sun God is very old, is not born now, is born long time back. So to explain this, Krishna is pressing his special position. He's talking about Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. Paunime Vetatani. Many birds I have taken and both of us have taken. I know, you don't know. Like that, he is giving a difference between him and that is Krishna himself and Arjuna. Then he says, Ye tamam prapatyante kamsate gopachamya. So up to 4.16, up to 4.15, Krishna is talking about एवं यात्रा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरमिभिः मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् पूर्वतरं. All liberated souls in ancient times have acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. So Krishna is talking about his transcendental nature up to 4.16. So in the description of Karma Yoga, there were two questions asked by Arjuna. One question on specific on what is preventing us from doing our work, and how Krishna could give a knowledge to Sun God when Sun God is elder than Krishna. So these were two questions asked. So first one, Krishna answers by um, focusing his mind on Krishna consciousness, which will help us to overcome lust. That is the point Krishna tells, which he concludes in 3.43. And then Krishna is explaining difference between him and Arjuna from 4.5 to 4.50. Now in 4.16, Krishna continues the theme of Karma Yoga. So if I go to sloka number 4.20, there is a word called as Nirashraya. So Nirashraya, what is this Nirashraya? Nirashraya, does it mean, so now we are talking about Karma Yoga. So what is the Nirashraya? Nirashraya means we are not taking shelter of something. So here, it doesn't mean shelter of Krishna, but it means shelter of the fruits of the work done or the results of the work done. So here, Nitya Tattva Karma Phalasanga, giving up all the fruits of the work done and always Nitya Tripta, always satisfied, and Nirashpriya means independent. The word ever satisfied and independent are referring to Nitya Tripta Nirashpriya. The word satisfied refers to happiness derived from the selfless motive of doing work, and independent is referring to no attachment to the results of the. By doing this, Jiva becomes free from fruitive action. That also Krishna is telling. He has no fruitive action, although he is engaged in all kinds of endeavor. There were two other slokas in which similar theme is discussed. It is in 3.18. नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो न कृतनेह कश्चन नाचस्य सर्वभूतेषु Kaschit Artha Vyapashraya. That is, Vyapa Ashraya means taking shelter of. Nor, so what is he doing? A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill the discharge of his prescribed duty, nor has he any reason to not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. So here, Vyapashraya is taking shelter of any other living being. So this theme says that we need to do prescribed duties, but it is a self-realized man when he does work. Um, a self-realized person need not have to do his work, and nor there is any pressing reason to not perform such work. So, and he is not dependent on any living. That means he does work only for Krishna. That is how we need to interpret this. And if you see the shloka number 3.11, 3.19, Tasmat asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purusha. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains supreme. So, if we club 3.18 and 3.19, the self-realized person has no purpose to fulfill his discharge of his prescribed duty, nor has he any reason not to perform such work. But therefore, what he does, he, without being attached to fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. So he will act as a matter of duty without being attached to work. And then he does not depend on any living being. And he is, because he is doing this, he attains the supreme. He attains the supreme. So you have to see 3.18 and 3.19 together. Now, when you see 4.20, he is fully satisfied in his himself and is independent and is not attached to this. So this is the same theme is continuing. So essentially, if a person performs his prescribed duty and is not materially attached to anyone and to the fruits of the work, then he is not bound by the reactions of the work. This theme continues till 4.22. So let us go to shloka number 4.22. 4.22. निराश्य यत चित्तात्मा तत्त कर्म परिग्रह शरीरम केवलम कर्म पूर्वम न आपनोति किल्बिषय. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possession, and acts only for bare necessities of life. Thus, working is not affected by sinful reaction. So, one important point that we need to know is nirasha, without desire for result. This meaning is different from the usual meaning of nirasha. If you see in Hindi, it means disappointment. And so it is here it means without desire for result. It is not disappointment. And particular means sense of proprietorship or possessive mentality. Both are sense of proprietorship over possession, or it is the mentality. He has possessions, but he does not have the possessive mentality. If this possessive mentality is not there, then what is the motivation for an action? So when I study well, I score good marks. Hence, hence I get a good job once I complete my study. Then I work hard and do my profession, and get better increment and hence improve my lifestyle. I have some hobbies because I enjoy it. Thus, every action that I do as the desire associated with it, and there is a possessive mentality why I do a action. So, what is then Krishna trying to tell? Krishna here is pointing out that motivation for a Transcendentalist is Shariram Kevalam Karma. So what does that mean? Shariram Kevalam Karma. So motivation for a spiritualist is Shariram Kevalam Karma. What does this mean? At one level, it means one should act to meet the bodily needs. So in case of Arjuna, if he fights and wins the war, he will get a prosperous and unrivaled kingdom. This is definitely not Shariram Kevalam Karma because he will live in a opulent palace. He will eat delightful feast. He will be served by servants. So that is the question of Shariram Kevalam Karma. We need to understand this at the other level. One should then act at a level of his varna and ashrama. If a person is Kshatriya, his level of Shariram Kevalam Karma is significantly different from other varna. He should live like a Kshatriya. When he acts in that way, Kurvam na apnoti kilvisha. He is not affected by the sinful reaction. So Shariram Kevalam Karma needs to be understood from Varnashrama levels. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, a Krishna conscious person fully engaged in self-realization has very little time to falsely process any material object. A Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. So Prabhupada is giving here two examples. He moves exactly like a part of a machine, as a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance. So Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in transcendental loving service of the Lord. He is therefore immune to all reactions of his endeavor. Like an animal, he has no purpose even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of animals sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest. So, question that we are not machine, but sensible living being. So is Srila Prabhupada not dehumanizing us? The point is that we need to coordinate and cooperate. Every example Srila Prabhupada gives has specific emphasis. In this example, the emphasis is on coordination and cooperation. Just like a part of the mission works in harmony with overall working of the mission, we must cooperate and coordinate with the Lord in his functioning or acting. We should work in sync with Krishna, not like mission, forgetting our desires, but by proper understanding of desire of Krishna due to our love for Krishna. So mission may not have any desires. We have desires, but we need to understand desire of Krishna and dovetail our desire for. We also act like this because acting for desire for Krishna gives us greater happiness. So our life is for enjoyment. Prabhupada says this life is for enjoyment. So when we know that the greater enjoyment is in serving the desire of Krishna, then we need to quickly attach to the desire of Krishna. The example of animal may be even more disturbing. We may wonder, what kind of life is this? Krishna is not a butcher who would slaughter us. The point is that our surrender for Krishna is very important. Just like a faithful dog remains with his master till the last breath, we should remain faithful to Krishna till our last breath. Srila Prabhupada did not recommend Western civilization's practice of having dogs as pets and allowing them to live in our home and sleep in our bed. Fundamentally, dog is an unclean animal, but Srila Prabhupada recognized the special quality of a dog, which is his faithfulness. Dog will always stay with the master and will lay down its life for the master. This is the virtue found in dog. Devotee is utterly devoted to Lord. We may think sometimes as if Lord is beating us. Many times things may go wrong in our life. We may think why this is happening to me. We may not be able to relate things in a right way. Therefore, we should stay put in Krishna consciousness so that over a period of time, we will know what is Lord's plan for us. We may understand, we may not understand the Lord's plan immediately. So the point from the example of animal is to be faithful as a dog to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing here the faithfulness of the devotee on the Lord and thinks that in long term, Lord always looks for my well-wish. He always is a supreme well-wisher for me, always think good for me in long term. So that is why it is called as Shreyas. Krishna looks for our Shreya. So okay, let us go to the next shloka, text number 22. यदृच लाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वितो विमत्सरः द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धो असिद्धौ च कृतवापि न निबध्यते. He who is satisfied with gain which comes on its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. So, Yadricha, one of its own, Lava, with gain, Santushta, satisfied. Dvanda, duality, Atita, surpassed. The most important line here is Bimatsara, or the sentence here is Bimatsara. Dvandva Tito, Bimatsara, free from envy. Envy is a very bad trait, which will never go up. There will be always some people who are better than us, making us envious of them. Ultimately, Vimatsara means we are envious of Krishna. Krishna has so much opulence that we want to be God like him. Thus, enviousness or Vimatsara arises. Krishna conscious person has understanding that nothing material can make me happy. So why should I yearn over for material things? Why should I envy someone? This person is steady in both success and failure, for he understands that these are comings because of my past karma. Therefore, this person remains steady in both success and failure and does not envy anyone. Thus, he remains focused on doing his duty. This person's action does not bind him because he knows the hand of Krishna in everything. So this is a very interesting shloka. I'll go to the next shloka. Uh, 4.23. गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञया अचरतः कर्म समाग्रं प्रविल्यते. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. So finally, this is one of the last shlokas in the series of shlokas on Karma Yoga as Dharma. There is one more shloka here in shloka number 24. So let us go to the shloka number 23. So here Krishna is telling unattached to the modes of material nature. So this is still deeper. So first Krishna was telling, don't depend on person, then don't depend on fruits of work. Do it on its own accord. Do not be driven by success or failure. And now he is telling that do not get attached to the modes of material nature. So here one interesting line is Yajnaya acharata karma. Yajnaya acharata karma. What does this mean? For sake of Krishna. Acharata means acting. So everything, the work done for satisfaction of Krishna. That is what is Yajnaya acharata karma. Because Yajna means Krishna. Samagra Pravilyate means that work merges entirely into transcendental. Samagra. In total, so it is not the person who merges, it is the work which merges into the transcendent. Which work merges into transcendent? Yajnaya Acharata Karma. Here Krishna is describing Yajna Purusha. The previous instance where Yajna Purusha is mentioned is shloka number 3.9. यज्ञार्थ कर्मणो अन्यत्र लोकोयान कर्म बंधन तदर्थम कर्म कौंतेय मुक्त संग समाचार work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bandage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. In that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So, this one is Yajnartha Karmana. So it is for sake of Yajna or Vishnu the work. And now we are looking at Yajnaya Acharata Karma. Yajnaya Acharata means for the sake of Krishna acting work. So both are related with one another. So Yajna is generally considered as fire sacrifice. The portion of the third chapter between 3.9 to 3.16, if we go to chapter number 3, 3.9, work done as a sacrifice, to 3.16. My dear Rajana, one who does not follow human life, the cycle of sacrifice thus established by Vedas, certainly leads a life full of living only for satisfaction of the senses. Such a person lives in this entire portion between 3.9 to 3.16 talks about only yajna. Yajna means what? Yajna does not mean only fire sacrifice, but selfless activities. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9, we understand that yajna is not just a activity, but a principle. Work done as a sacrifice. So it is a principle. One such sacrifice may be through fire, where Agni manifests as fire, serves the offering we make. The essential point is that the act of sacrifice we are making something sacred or holy. So act of sacrifice converts the work into sacred or holy. Krishna is first giving a broad view of what sacrifice means, and then he explains specific way in which Arjuna can make sacrifice. So the next part of the Bhagavad Gita speaks majorly on sacrifice. So now Krishna in 3.9 gave a principle of yajna where we act for Krishna. It is not just fire sacrifice. And now we understand that when you act when you act for satisfaction of yajna, then the act becomes purified or sacrifice, sacred or holy. So yajnaya acharata karma, work done in transcendental knowledge or work done for satisfaction of Krishna is selfless work. The man who performs this is liberated or situated in transcendence. So yajnaya acharata karma will be expanded in next section, that is 4.24 to 4.33. Krishna is telling Arjuna to act in the mood of yajna. That is how it is coming. So Karma Yoga is now becoming much more clearer to us. Let us go to the section. So section number 20, section 25 to 33 is achieving jnana through sacrifice. Let us go to shloka number 24. Brahmarpana, Brahmahave, Brahmana, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaika Tena Gantavya, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is a very nice shloka. So we can see Brahma 1, 2, Brahmahavi, Brahmagna 3, Brahmanahutam 4, Brahmainda 5, Brahma Karma. So 6 times Brahma comes. Brahmarpana, Brahmamaya, Brahmagna, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavya, Brahma Karma Samadhina. There are 2 words. The first word is Brahma, which means spiritual or supreme. The second word is Arpanam, Avir, Agna, Uttam, Gantavyam, and Karma. These are the components of sacrifice. So, Arpana means that which is offered, contribution. Avir means butter. Agno means fire. Uta means offered. Brahma, Gantavya means to be reached, the spiritual kingdom where we have to go. Karma means act. So all these are activities or contents of the yajna. So what is offered or contributed is Brahman. Butter can be considered as contribution or it could be considered as something which acts as a fuel to increase the fire. This is Brahman, the fire which burns the fuel and other offering. In offering, if we also offer grains, sometimes we offer grains in addition to butter. Butter helps in better burning of the grains offered. Brahman here is referring to something which is spiritual. The one who offers is also a spiritual nature, which is the spirit soul. The destination that we reach by this offering is also spiritual. The person who is doing this completely, this work, spiritual work, is completely absorbed in the spiritual work. So, what is Krishna trying to tell you? The main point is that in this sloka is that we offer in sacrifice all paraphernalia with the understanding that these paraphernalia are nothing but Krishna's energy, which is available for purpose of satisfaction of Krishna. Any so this can also be used for sense gratification, but when we use it for Krishna, the destination is spiritual world. So in general, composition in general, whether something is material or spiritual, can be classified into 2 major groups. One is composition and another one is application. So composition means what is the ingredient of it. So Satchitananda, Krishna, something which is spiritual is Satchitananda. So it is fundamentally spiritual. It is free from material things. So, hence, this is a compositional sense. If anything which is not spiritual and is made up of material things, earth, water, fire, air, ether, it is material. Spirit soul is not made up of air, bhumi, apo, analo, vayu, kam, mano, buddhi, revacha, even the subtle elements. So soul is spiritual, whereas our body, which is gross and material, subtle bodies are material elements. So, so this is the golden box. If you consider, okay, we'll come to this example little later. Then in application sense, what is it used for? We have material things Everything available in this material world, when we bring it for service of Krishna, uh, then it becomes spiritual. What is it used for? What is some material used for? Bhoga, which is offered to Krishna, is material, but when we offer to Krishna, it becomes spiritual. Material thing can be spiritualized by using it for spiritual purpose. We can say that our spiritual God and our spiritual master's body is spiritual. This means that the body is entirely used for spiritual purpose. Its body may grow old, it may get disease. This does not make it material. Since it is not since spiritual master has used this in service of Krishna, it is spiritual. Spiritual master's body is spiritualized for all practical purposes. So Srila Prabhupada usually says the example of a golden box and gold plated box. Golden box is Satchitananda, the spiritual quality. Gold plated box is spiritualized material thing. The red hot iron is not fire, but when it is kept in contact with the fire, it becomes fire. The material things get spiritualized by cultivation or practice of devotional service. So, both gold-plated box and gold box have gold in it. That is what the point is. Now, so there is a in the commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti, there is he envisions battlefield as yajna. So Krishna is talking about yajna in this section. Brahmarpanam Brahmahaya, Brahmarno Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Kartavya, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So Arjuna may get a question here. Okay, if you want me to perform yajna, yajnaya acharata karma, then why should be in the battlefield? Why we should be in the battlefield? How is it possible for me to perform yajna? Arjuna can question Krishna. How is it possible for me to perform yajna in the battlefield? I will go to forest where I will do yajna very nicely. I will call priest. I will become the owner of the yajna, yajaman, and then I will perform yajna properly. But Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is bringing the point that Krishna wants to tell Arjuna this battlefield is yajna. So how is battlefield yajna? Battlefield is yajnasthali, the kunda in which the fire is burnt in the usual fire sacrifice. That is battlefield. And the ladle and sword is Arjuna's Gandiva bow. And Ahuti, the offering is Kauravas. And person who is accepting this offering is Virata Purusha, the universal form of the Lord. So if you see Bhagavad Gita 11.25, Samastra Karalani Chate Mukhani Kristvaiva Kalanala Sannibani Vishona Jani Nalabecha Sharma Prasiddha Devesa Jagannivasa. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I am bewildered. And shloka number 26 and 27. Amichatvam Gadarashtasya Putraha Sarve Saivamani Palasanghe Bhishmo Drono Suta Putras Tataso Sahasmatye Api Yodamuke Pakrani Te Swaramana Vishanti Damashtra Karalani Bayanakani Kechit Vilagna Nishantareshu Sandrishyante Churnitaye Uttamam. What does that mean? Between the teeth are seen with smashed heads. So all of them are getting trapped between Virata Purusha's teeth. All the sons of the Rashtra, along with the allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also are rushing into your fearful walls. and some I see trapped with the head smashed into teeth. So, so this description of universal form shows how the offering that is made is accepted by the Virata form. Yajna is not just one activity. It is just a principle. It is not just fire sacrifice. It is the principle of acting for the satisfaction of Yajna Purusha. That even the battlefield becomes can be doubted for satisfaction of Krishna. This verse 4.24 says that whatever we do will become yajna if it is for satisfaction of the Lord. So we are discussing here Krishna Katha. When we chant the holy name, it is the sound vibration. So by chanting, by sound vibration, we are offering our consciousness to Krishna. By hearing and chanting, we offer our consciousness to Krishna. By discussing about Krishna, which is called as Krishna Katha, this discussion on Bhagavad Gita is a Krishna Katha. We are offering our consciousness to Krishna. Everything becomes spiritualized over there. When this happens, then we attain the spiritual nature. Thus, by doing a spiritual activity, we fix our consciousness on Krishna. By doing this, we make the atmosphere spiritual and hence we attain the spiritual nature. So, Krishna's re-envisioning of battlefield is not sentimental fantasy or intellectual conceptualization. It is actual insight into true nature of things. That is what that is what people our thinking changes when we reach Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that's this Prabhupada's purport is very classic. Just sharing my screen now. So the Lord is spiritual and the rays of his transcendental body are Brahma Jyoti, his spiritual effulgence. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahma Jyoti. But when the Jyoti is covered by illusion or sense gratification, it is called material. So, what does this mean? Srila Prabhupada is talking from the application point of view. Everything which is coming from Krishna is spiritual. However, it is covered by Maya. This makes us think it is for our sense gratification. So when we think like this, we get entangled in it. We get entangled in the material world. To prevent that, we need to have the right vision. So Krishna is imparting this vision to Arjuna, and by reading this interesting dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, we also get that right vision of application of this in Krishna consciousness, application of material things for Krishna satisfaction, so that we become Krishna conscious. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called yajna or sacrifice for the absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, one who is acting, whatever we are contributing, the consumption, the performer or the leader of the performance, and the result or ultimate gain, everything becomes one in absolute, the supreme truth. This is the method of Krishna consciousness. Let us go to shloka number 25. Daivam evapare yagnam yoginam paripasate brahmagnam apare yagnam yagneva pajavati. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them. Some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Now, there is one important thing that we need to understand here. We are right now starting a new section, that is achieving jnana through sacrifices. So in the previous one, doing duty, when we do work for Krishna, then it becomes yajna. That is what we saw. So Krishna is going to explain different types of yajna. So shloka number 25 starts and gives the beginning of a new section where we will be talking about different sacrifices. So this is now the discussion is going to be very much more interesting. We will continue this in our next next week's discussion. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद।